Hello and welcome to our Better Business webinar. And this month we are looking at dealing with difficult clients. We have fabulous clients, but we've also had some very difficult ones in the past. And I want to talk you through how we managed to make sure that we have the best clients every year. I'm Della Hudson. I am the founder of Minerva Accountants. It's my second accountancy practice, and I'm also a qualified business coach. So I speak, I write, I coach accountants to run a better business. So every year, usually in February after tax return season, we triage our clients. We clarify them as A through to D. Now, your definition may not be the same as my definition, but essentially A clients are our best clients. They're our ideal clients. We wish every client was like them. B clients, they're the mid-sized ones. They're the good clients. We still love spending time on them. C clients, they're our bread and butter. And most of our clients are probably C clients or B clients. And then we have D clients. And they can be D for a number of reasons. It's your business. You can define what a D client is for you. And I know quite often when we offload D clients, we refer them to another local accountant for whom they're much better quality than us because they suit them much better. So there might be D clients if they're toxic clients. Frankly, those are D clients for everybody. They might just not be profitable because of the way we work. We're set up to deal with limited companies who are tech savvy, who do everything online. Others prefer to do things face to face. They're not ideal clients for us. They'd be D clients for us, but they're perfect for somebody else. We've got the ones who are always late. Yeah, those who bring in their tax return information in December or January, they're automatically D clients for us. Excuse me, I do need my tea. They might be too big or too small for you. And there's always that way when you're growing your business and you take on a big client who's 12 times the size of your current biggest client, and you think it's what you want, but actually you're not really set up to serve them. So everything you do is manual, and you actually spend much more time servicing those than the fee justifies. So you need to be careful as you grow not to take too big a step. Perhaps you can handle it better than I did, but I've done that a few times in the past and it just disrupted all my nice operations. So now we don't take on anyone bigger than twice our biggest client. It's just too big a step for our systems and our team to cope with. Sometimes you just don't enjoy the work or don't get on with the people for one of those completely subjective reasons. It's like we don't deal with sole traders particularly. My expertise is in running business. I can provide the value in helping people to run a better business. So small sole traders, side hustles, they don't excite me. Whereas they might be perfect for you. We've got the time suckers. They just drain your time. They want a phone call on everything every 5 minutes. Startups are often like that, but it's a phase they go through. So it's the phase they're in. It's not that they're naturally like that. And we always encourage our new clients to ask lots of questions, especially if they've just set up their company. It's what we're here for. In order to do that, we have lots of online resources, we have help sheets, we have videos, we have a whole YouTube channel for them, just as we have one for accountants. So we try to organize that so it's not too much one-to-one time, but there's still a fair bit. So sometimes you just need to arrange your business to suit, and other times They're just not right for your business. We've got the ones who never follow advice. Now, it is only advice. We can't force them to follow our advice. But generally, if they never follow our advice, I recommend they be better off with another accountant. The ones who always call out of hours, and the ones who don't pay you. The ones with those incomplete, messy records. Yeah. The ones who need services that we don't provide. We don't do research and development tax credits anymore. We work with another company who does. So if they need those, we sometimes work alongside the specialists, and sometimes we get them to go directly to those specialists, depending exactly what it entails. So D clients, they're different for all of us. Spend some time writing down what's a D client for you. That way, you can be clear who you should be getting rid of or adapting, and you can also make sure you don't take any more on in future. If you're fairly new, you'll probably find that you've taken on a lot of D clients by mistake. And a good way to do that is to adopt a one in, one out, so that for every new, rather than growing, for every new A client you take on, you get rid of a D client. So how do we deal with them? Well, Larry Late, who always drops off his records at the last minute, and frankly, if any adult needs more reminders than my children, they need a nanny, not an accountant. I'm not Mary Poppins, so Larry is no good for my business. We send reminders early. So for March year end, we send reminders April, June, September, and then October. We send our final demand, our final request, saying if we don't have it by the end of the month, tough. Well, not quite tough, but you know, we say we won't be able to guarantee to make the tax return deadline. So we're very clear on our deadlines. We set our boundaries, and this year we introduced an express service fee. If clients wanted their tax returns turned around in less than a month, they paid us a 50% premium. If they wanted it turned around in less than a week, they paid a 100% premium. So for those who wanted them done earlier in the year, by the 31st of July, we said, we're not going to charge it for you. So if they just want it turned around quickly, because they want to check payments on account, because they want to get a mortgage or something, that was absolutely fine. At that time of year, we're not under pressure. If they want it turned around in a month, we can do that. But we did make some money on those who sent their stuff in December, and don't think we had anybody in January this year. I'm trying to think. No, we had 2 new clients, so they hadn't been through all the reminders. So we didn't charge them the extra because they were new, and we'll get on top of them with the deadlines this year. So they went onto our D list because they were late, but we're not going to take any action on that this year because our action is to train them. So we need to look at training them. So what do you do with Larry Late? Training, can do it. Consider increasing your fees. But for me, anybody who sends their self-assessment information in December and January is an automatic D list. And if they're on the D list 2 years in a row, so these new clients who were late, if they're still there next year, they're on their way out. We've got Weekend Wendy, who does her accounts at the weekend and rings you with questions just as they occur to her. Why are you answering your business phone out of hours? Leave her to speak to your voicemail or invest in an answering service. Actually, our answering service doesn't even work weekends. They automatically set things to a voicemail. You can get answering services that will operate 7 days a week or even 24/7, and you pay accordingly. But essentially, we work 9 to 5. Sorry, our office is open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We often work different hours. That's up to us. We're not available to clients outside of those hours. Clients will often send emails when it's convenient for them. You answer it when it's convenient to you. So just because they ask, you don't have to answer. Set your boundaries. It's your business. So if you start off, we're often, really keen to give clients all that extra service. And then when you start to take on staff, they don't want to work outside of hours either. So you end up doing all the out of hours phone calls. So don't do it in the first place. Then we've got Shoddy Sharon. She sends you a carrier bag of crumpled papers, half completed software. If you've never thought to train her, now is the time. We have predominantly zero clients. That's our preference. You might have your own preference. And so we have training videos for the software. We actually set up clients free of charge on software because it's in our interest to have them doing that way. If we do their bookkeeping for them, then we have them on HubDoc, which is free of charge with zero. If they've got lots, then we put them onto Apron. All they have to do is take a photograph on their phone of their invoice, or they can just forward their digital invoices to the special email account. How much easier can it be? If they struggle with that, then we have another issue. But essentially, they should be able to get most of their things to us. Bank feeds, they're free with most software. Some of the free software, you pay for the bank feeds, but with Xero, QuickBooks, Free Agent, the bank feeds are usually free. So we would talk to Sharon and get that set up once she's got her software. So get yourself videos, and I actually just use, you can use Loom, that's very good, but I actually use Zoom. So just set a Zoom call and turn your camera off and just record the screen and you talking over it. Save it, and then you've got that whenever you need to train a client. So we are training Larry to bring his information on time with financial penalties. If not, we're training Wendy to observe our boundaries of whatever our office hours are. We're training Sharon to do better work, better preparation. If you're a bookkeeper, then that means getting the information to you in an organized fashion. If you're an accountant, it means getting the bookkeeping done well. One of the other things with poor bookkeeping is we used to use Xavier till it was bought out by Dexter and became Dexter Precision. We now use Xenon Connect. Now what that does, it does a bookkeeping health check and comes up with a score. Now I'm not a gamer. I didn't appreciate if you give people a bookkeeping score, they come back to you and ask you, how can I improve my score? And it's absolutely fabulous. They want me to help them have better quality, up-to-date bookkeeping. I'm all for that. Videos, one-to-one sessions if necessary, but generally we can record it as videos. If it's something that needs a one-to-one session, we normally say, yeah, leave that and we'll, you're not a professional bookkeeper, we'll pick it up at the year end. It's our general thing. We just want them to do the data entry and the basics. We don't expect them to produce the full trial balance. So that's the training. We then come to Stingy Steve, who tries to renegotiate fees every time you mention your annual increase. So I've just sent out our annual fee increases ready for the 1st of April. And actually they are quite hefty this year because we picked up extra work as ACSPs for the limited. We picked up extra work for MTD for the sole traders that we have. By the way, you do have an annual increase, don't you? So if Steve is one of your bigger fees, you might be tempted to give him a discount. But why should your A clients subsidize Steve? Invest in some proposal software or set up your own spreadsheet. Grow a pair of balls, metaphorically. Have confidence in your fees. If they're acceptable for your A clients, why should you reduce them for your D clients? If necessary, let him go. If Steve leaves, you'll have more time to take on another A or B client to replace him. Similar to Steve is non-paying Nigel. We trade our time and our expertise in exchange for cash. And if he's not paying, he's already not a client. Have a credit control procedure and follow it. So again, we use Xero, and I know QuickBooks have the same. I think Free Agent might have automated reminders for sales invoices. Use them. Set the wording, set the timing. So our first one is basically, did you receive our invoice? Just making sure it hasn't gone astray somewhere. So it's an admin thing. Just checking it's all okay. By the way, we're a small business. We appreciate prompt payment, and they get more and more severe. There are 4 in the series. So our first one goes out the day after it's due. Like I say, it's more or less a courtesy thing. But the idea is you chase early and you keep chasing. If they haven't paid you, they're not a client. Clients pay. You're not a charity. As a small business, you can legally add interest, statutory interest, and a collection fee to the debt. So if we get to the 4th reminder, then we come off our automated system and it's a manual one. It's a special email or pick up the phone. And if they still aren't paying, then I charge interest and the statutory collection fee, depending on the size of the debt. You should never be embarrassed to chase non-payers. They're the ones breaking the contract, not you. Extras. Ellen always wants extra services, and then you forget to tell her it's chargeable until you've accumulated hundreds or even thousands of pounds of extra fees. So when asked to do additional work, get into the habit of saying not yes, but yes and. Yes, and that will cost either the fixed fee or the fee per hour, whichever. And then don't forget to raise the extra work order and the invoice. Stay on top of your admin. Ignorant Isla doesn't have a clue what she's doing. This is where all that training comes in. She's lovely, but she's a bit dippy, and you just need to keep on top of her, get her trained. And if it's not going to work, then get a bookkeeper in place who can look after her a lot better, or get a PA to organise her. It's not down to you. And then Dave at the pub, we all know Dave with his expert advice. Yeah, I've got a standard message that I use whenever somebody comes in with some bright ideas. Thanks for that. We've already considered that, and it's not applicable in your case because we like to keep. I should have looked up the wording and saved it in here. We like to ensure that our clients are fully compliant so that they can sleep at night, and so can we. So a lot of this is about setting boundaries. Have service level agreements. We ask that our clients reply to our messages within 7 days. We try to get back to them within 2 business days. So if they get a week, we get 2 days. Seems fair. And things like that. Is a message actually expecting an immediate response, or are we just receiving it out of hours and assuming that we will? So be clear on your office hours, put them on your website, put them in your email signature, whatever. If a client consistently sends emails or phone calls out of hours, it might be worth just dropping them a line. I appreciate that, you know, it's often convenient for you to send emails, leave messages out of hours. These are the hours when we work, and we will give you a response. Yeah, we'll pick up your messages in those hours and then give you a response once we've had a chance to process it. Because just because you start work on 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, you can't ring them at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. So preferably sometime on Monday, if not Tuesday. Be clear on your boundaries, whatever your service level is. If the client's a D client because they're not profitable, then just look at increasing your price. And this is why we've had some hefty prices this year for some of our clients. So we'll do a separate webinar on pricing and how and why you need to be doing that. But it's something that's a lot easier and a lot less scary than people think. So look out for our pricing webinar, how to charge what you're worth. Once you've got the right clients, ask your A and B clients for referrals so you get more like them. Don't ask your D clients for referrals. They will just send you those price sensitive, messy people. So ask referrals from your A and B clients. And the message isn't that we're desperate for work, it's that business is good and we're looking for more. So we've got our D clients. You also have the option to do nothing. You can wait and see. Sometimes somebody's been through a crisis, and like the chap that we took on in January because he'd had 6 months of cancer treatment. So I took him on right in the last few days of January and said we'd do our best, but couldn't promise to get everything in on time. Of course, we managed to get it in on time. And then the next year he was back on schedule. He was absolutely fine. So those, you do something and then keep them on the D list. You don't automatically have to disengage them. If they're on our D list for 2 years, we tend to disengage them. But still, you don't have to get rid of them all at the same time. I've talked about doing a one in, one out, where you get an A or B client in and then replace. That gives you an opportunity to get rid of one or more D clients at that point. So you can offboard gradually. You don't have to do it all overnight. It does extend the pain, but I appreciate that you also need income. I'm not one of those software vendors who stands there on the stage saying, you should do this, drop your D clients. Yeah, we all know what we're supposed to do, but actually we also need to earn a living. So how do you go about disengaging? If you've never done it before, it can be quite scary. Always be professional about it. Be a decent human being. No matter why you're disengaging them, be a decent human being. Yes, it's about your reputation. And there's always that thing that if you've got 2 connected clients, you disengage one, will you lose both? Well, if you handle it professionally, you don't need to give a reason for disengaging. I tend to say something like we're organizing, reorganizing our business, and I think you'd be better served by a different kind of accountant, would be able to look after you far better than we can. We've all probably broken up with a boyfriend, girlfriend over the years, and it's a case of, it's not you, it's me. We're reorganizing. So it comes across as a neutral thing, no matter what a pain they've been. Be kind, be a decent human being. That will do the best for your reputation. And also if you're disengaging for the right reasons, they might still refer you. So if it's a little client who just can't afford your fees, they might know some bigger people. They might go on, their business might grow. There are all sorts of things that may change it in the future. So leave the door open for referrals. And then having got your ideal client list now, okay, it's an ongoing process. We never quite achieve that, even with our lovely, lovely clients. You need to look at your marketing to make sure that you get more of those A and B clients. So define your avatar of your ideal client and your process. So we've got more webinars on that. And then make this client triage an annual process. As I say, we usually do it in February. So you will have different definitions of your A through to D clients, and actually they will change as the business evolves. So when you first start up, what might seem like an A client, 3 years down the road may well be a D client, because they're no longer, you've grown and they haven't, so they're no longer suited for your business. And this is why we're always kind and disengaging, because it's often not the client's fault. It's quite often just a mismatch. So we look after, we try to refer them to other accountants where we can. Not the toxic ones, please. Not even to your worst enemy, your biggest competitor, but we refer elsewhere where we can. Why do we need to do this? Well, your mental health will be so much better if you're dealing with people who cause you less stress. You'll be more profitable if you've got clients who are paying the right fees and paying them on time, and you don't have any of that scope creep. You'll work more efficiently if you've got the right clients who are suited to your business. And quite frankly, your business, your choice. We work flipping hard, so let's make sure we enjoy what we do. And frankly, I think we do our best work for people that we like. I certainly do. So if you don't already have a copy, then you're welcome to a free copy of The Numbers Business. This is the first edition. It's about to go out of print if it hasn't already. And I'm currently writing the second edition, but I need to pull my finger out and get on with that. We also have coaching, and we have the Numbers Business online course for you. And these are just some of the things that people have said about the course and how it's sort of liberated them to get the business they want and improve their profitability. I can't see any questions in the chat, so I am going to leave you to get on with that. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you for future webinars. Goodbye.